Welcome to Eternal Expressions, where art, culture, and creativity transcend time. Join us as we celebrate the beauty and stories that connect humanity. Let's create together.
The doctor asked me, "Are you fighting with lion?" "Why do you get this in your cheeks? Are you fighting with lion?" I said, "Oh, that is a tribal mark."
Africa is the world's second largest continent, with 54 independent countries. It boasts a vibrant, rich and diverse culture. There are about 3,000 tribes on the continent who practice various indigenous forms of what is widely known today as body modification. In layman's terms, body modification refers to the changes made to the human body by inflicting permanent or temporary conditions for reasons such as beauty, folk medicine, aesthetics, and tradition. In various parts of Africa, body modification has different native names, so you can imagine that with about 3,000 unique tribes, how diverse this subject truly is. It is essentially an old practice done by indigenous African people who used methods such as scarification, tattooing, branding, painting, and burning to create physical, identifiable features on the human body. You might want to know, why did our ancestors do it? Well, for the fact that in ancient African civilizations, body markings have been used to mark social, political, and spiritual positions of an individual or group in a manner that is immediately visible to the naked eye.
I'm proud of it because anywhere I go and I see my family, I know that what side have you come from? That is it.
Our people use the body as a canvas, creating a wide array of changes that were perceived as art. In some African tribes, scarification and tattooing served as cultural imprints, maps, messages. For example, in ancient African civilization, if you were to come across a certain tribe marked in a certain way, you would know if you were to be welcomed or not. This does not take away from the fact that there has been controversy surrounding this topic. It has become a highly subjective matter. What one finds acceptable in their culture may mean something completely different in another. For example, African model Monet is turning heads and changing the narrative of this old-age practice, which was once considered evil. She is now gracing the runway, proudly embodying her African marks. And this is what she had to say.
I was born in France, but my roots are from the Republic of Benin, West Africa. My mom has scars, they're actually tribal scars on her temple, and in my dad's family they have it on their cheek. The way my ancestors used to identify themselves is such a bold and brave choice.
Inspired by what you've seen? Head over to our online gallery and dive deeper into the art and traditions featured on today's episode. Eternal Expressions, where creativity knows no bounds. Some early recorded forms of body modifications on the continent were widely captured around the 19th century, supposedly around the time when Western nations began the scramble for Africa. However, we, as African people, are very much aware that this practice existed way before that time. According to oral history and folklore, the earliest known history of body markings in Africa dates back to around 19,000 BC, near the peak of ancient Egyptian civilization. A form of tattoo was discovered on the skin of mummified corpses of both men and women.
I'm proud of it. My father had it, my mother had it. But if I go anywhere, people will identify me with this. You Africa, you Nigeria, they will ask me because they quickly see this.
In recent days, its roots can be traced all over Africa. For example, the iconic Himba women from Namibia apply what is known as tribal makeup, made from red ochre, animal butter, and aromatic herbs. It gives them a red hue, similar to that of the Samburu women found in Kenya. Slim and slender might be a trend in some countries, but in the great Omo Valley of Ethiopia lives the body people. And on this side of the world, bigger is definitely better. Young men take part in an annual contest, which takes 6 months to prepare. They spend their days consuming a concoction of milk and cow's blood in a bid to be crowned the Chavia man. The winner is considered a hero for life and gets to marry the finest maiden in the land. Just like the Himba and Samburu people, the Suri tribe in Ethiopia cover their bodies with red ochre, often when going on hunting trips. It serves traditional use, military, and also functions as a social marker, distinguishing boys from girls as well as men from women. Another example is the Zulu tribe of South Africa, who practice indigenous scarification. A small incision is made into the skin, then ash and herbs are rubbed on it, leaving the skin irritated. It eventually heals, leaving a raised scar. It is considered appealing to touch and look at. And for the most part, young women were secretly fascinated and aroused by this look. It also demonstrated bravery and ethnic pride. Fishbone patterns and imitations of crocodile skin can be observed in the Tanzanian Bondai and Bobo tribe in Burkina Faso. The crocodile is considered a sacred animal amongst these people. In some parts of Kenya and Tanzania, Maasai communities create secular and semi-secular hunter or warrior scars on their cheek. These serve as tribal identification markers and also reflect a desire to be a successful hunter.
So anywhere we go, that you see these 3 cross like this, you know that yes, it's from my family.
Typical for the Bantu Tonga tribes in Zambia, Malawi, and Zimbabwe are long keloid scars reaching from one eyebrow to the other. This creates the appearance of a buffalo, which demonstrates an act of decisiveness.
The reasons why we are doing this, my own 3-3, that is for our family.
If you get lost, we can have a way of retracing or getting ourselves back. That's an essence of tribal marks.
Scarification is a cultural custom in many indigenous societies in sub-Saharan Africa. In my own country, for example, it is not only the Himba who engage in this practice. Some Oshiwambo tribes, especially the Kwambis, mark 2 lines on both cheeks as tribal identification markings. These markings were similar to those of the Pokot women in Kenya. These marks were ornamental and made women more attractive to men. There is a widely divided belief that the Kwambis created these scars in order to treat eye conditions. In addition, the Kwanyama, Kavango, and Caprivi tribes engage in scarification for traditional healing. We also have the women in Kenya who use body markings to show the different stages in their life, from puberty to marriage. Despite the pressure of the modern world, some of our people refuse to give up on this way of life, citing,
I'm not going to exchange this one for a clean cheek like yours.
This is me, and this is a self-expression of what's happening inside me, and this is a representation of who I see myself and where I'm standing with myself.
Notably, body modification has become increasingly frequent in Western countries. More and more people are modifying their bodies for cosmetic reasons. Sadly, the terror and stigma associated with this practice are still prominent across the board.
People ask me questions when I go in buses and train. And people will come closer and say, what is this in your face? They will ask me questions, I will tell them. They may say, I fought with hyena, I fought with lion. There was no window in our room, so you look for your way with your finger, and people scratch your face, and you scratch their faces. But I used to tell the people the truth. It's my tribal marks.
Indigenous African body marks are somewhat facing a near revolutionary extinction. It is now the older African generation that still remembers how it was once celebrated. Back in the days, indigenous African body modification practices were more of a choice. Parents would often consent, and those who were old enough to take part would do it if they wanted to. We cannot take away from the fact that there are, however, other forms of body modifications that are considered extreme, sometimes believed to violate the fundamental human value and dignity. Many attribute these concerns to the implementation of regulations, prompted by the increase in health implications and safety guidelines. Young men and women are now deciding if they want to or not. There are still many African tribes who modify their bodies in one way or another. Oh, so, are you African? Do you have any scars on your body? Do you want to share? What was the experience like for you? Why did you get it? If you've made it this far into this video, it probably tells me that you are interested in this type of content. And if you do, be sure to subscribe and like this video. Art is eternal, and so are its expressions. Thank you for joining us. Keep celebrating, keep creating, and see you next time.